This is the new Ford Focus, and it could well be the most advanced mainstream car you can buy. And to find out if it is, in this video I'm going to drive it, I'm going to check out its practicality, and I'm going to test its technology, which according to Ford is class leading, but we'll find out about that in a bit. Now before we get into the video, please make sure you subscribe to this channel and hit the bell icon to turn your notifications on so you're alerted when we make a new upload. Let's start this review by talking about the car's design, because it's a really important factor. You see, when I first saw the pictures of this thing, I was like, oh my God, what has Ford done? It looks terrible. But whoever took those photos needs firing, because they've done this car an injustice. I actually think it looks great here in the flesh. This is the ST line, so it's sportier, so you've got like a kind of aggressive front bumper and a honeycomb grille. The basic car has a different grille. The titanium model has a slatted shiny grille. The Vignale has a posh looking grille, and then there's the active version, which is the kind of pretend off-roader, which has its own grille as well, and you can get some special LED headlights which can actually bend round corners. Obviously they're not bending the light, that is a physical impossibility unless of course you're near a black hole. But this isn't a science lesson, it's a car review. And what it actually does is use a camera to read the road ahead, and if it sees a bend, it'll angle the headlights. So it's not connected to the steering wheel like most systems are. It's very clever. Now moving down the sides, this car is running on 17-inch alloy wheels because it's the ST line. You can get wheel sizes up to 18 inches. Once again, being the ST line, you've got some side skirts to make it look sporty. Then at the back, there's a roof spoiler, you've got a sort of pretend diffuser. Now some people will be put off this car because of that badge, because it's not German. However, this car is built in Germany, just like the Volkswagen Golf. So, which would you have? The Volkswagen Golf or this? Click on the pop-out button in the top right-hand corner of the screen to cast your vote. And don't be a badge snob, because to tell you, at the moment, I'm actually leaning towards this. And I never thought I'd say that.
Since the first Focus arrived in 1998, more than 2 million have been sold, making it the UK's most popular car. And now here are some more interesting numbers about this latest Focus.
53 millimeters, that's how much extra space there is between the front and the rear wheels compared to the old Focus, and that gives you extra interior space. 20%, that's how much stiffer this new Focus's body is than the old cars, for improved crash protection and drivability. 1 centimetre, that's how much lower the ST line version sits to the road. However, 3 centimetres is how much higher the active version sits over the standard car. 1 metre is improved braking distance from 60 miles an hour if you have a Focus fitted with brake booster, which gives you some extra stopping power. 2 milliseconds, that's how fast the optional adaptive suspension can respond to the road conditions. In fact, if you go over a pothole, they can sense the wheel dropping and will stop it from dropping too far so it doesn't crash when you hit the other side of the pothole.
I tried the adaptive suspension system on the new Vignale version of the Focus, and it seemed to smooth out bad roads pretty well, especially in softer comfort mode.
Sorry to interrupt the review, I just wanted to tell you about our Refer a Friend scheme, so click up there to find out more about it. It could earn you a £50 Amazon gift card, right? Thanks.
Anyway, back to the review and the new Focus's interior design.
This car just feels so much nicer on the inside than the old Focus. And it's like someone's actually bothered to design a dash this time. I like the shape of it, it's really nice. It's not the most exciting thing to look at because it's all quite dark, though you can try and liven things up with bits of trim here on this particular panel. This one's got a fake carbon fibre effect, and it does a good job of faking it actually. In terms of the quality, there's plenty of soft touch materials about the place, but then as you move down, they do start to feel a little bit cheaper. And look at this. The centre console, it actually wobbles, which is not great, but I've found that on many Ford cars in the past. I do like the fact that they've given you this little padded area here to rest your knee on, and then down in the door bins, they're actually lined with felt to stop bits and pieces rattling around in there when you're driving. Now that's a little trick that Ford has clearly nicked from Volkswagen, because they've been doing that on the Golf for a long time now. Now in terms of prices, this car starts from £18,000, and if you click on the pop-out banner in the top right-hand corner of the screen, you can see how much you can save on a Ford Focus, or any car for that matter, at CarWow. Now you don't actually want the entry-level car, you want to step up to at least the Z-Tech, because that's got more kit, and you also get Ford Sync infotainment system. The Z-Tech actually has a slightly smaller screen than this. This is the ST line, it's about £21,500, but then you get a lot more kit, such as this larger 8-inch screen. It's easy to swipe through different menus, and you've got things like Apple CarPlay and Android Auto on it as well. The navigation system is all right. It's not the best system, but it's pretty decent really. I don't mind it at all. And this ST line also has other stuff. You've got part leather seats, you've got this red stitching about the place to make it feel all sporty. You also get a widescreen reversing camera, which has a 180-degree view, though the picture is a little bit washed out, even though it is quite big. You also get a Bang & Olufsen stereo, which is really loud. I like that. And this is quite surprising, a heads-up display as standard.
The display is the biggest and brightest on any car of this size and can show a wide range of speed, safety and navigation data.
Another thing to note is that most heads-up displays like these, you can't actually see the image if you've got glasses with polarized lenses, but with this one it has a special coating so that you can, and so I can put my glasses on now. You see, it wasn't a continuity error that I'm trying to cover up, not at all, no.
If you want to cover up a lack of driving skills, then Ford has the technology for you.
You can get this car with a new automatic parking facility, which can park this car into a gap which is about 1.1 metres longer than the car itself. And that's what I have set up here with these two other cars. However, this new version of the Focus has something a little bit special about it. You see, if you go for the automatic version, the system won't just control the steering wheel, it'll also do the throttle and brake. So you don't have to do anything, and I'll demonstrate it now. So all I have to do is press this button down here. I indicate to say which way I want it to look for a space. It should be scanning now, looking for a space. All very similar to the system that was on the old Focus. Nothing new here, not yet. Now it's found the space, and there we go. I just stop now, and this is where it's different. Right, so I just put the car into neutral, hold this button down, let go of the brake and the throttle and the steering, and basically just do nothing. In fact, I could, in theory, just be in a completely different position. There we go. It's a bit ridiculous. So now it's going to maneuver the car into the space. Now I could manage to get the car in this myself, but some people are terrible parkers, and this will just do the job for them.
But this isn't the only way the new Focus can help you. It can also prevent you from crashing into things.
As well as the usual auto emergency braking with things like cyclist detection, this car is also available with something called evasive steering assist. Now what that does is use a forward-facing camera and radar to check out what's ahead of you, and if it sees an obstacle and it thinks that you can't avoid hitting it, even with braking, it'll actually help steer you around it so that you don't have an accident. Now the system doesn't actually include any arms. This is just for illustrative purposes. They belong to my cameraman Bradley. Here's Bradley.
Hey.
That's enough of Bradley. Don't want him to steal the show now, do I?
Actually, it's the Focus and its assistant systems which are starting to steal the show. And they could also help you on the motorway.
So I've got cruise control, but it also has radar guidance, so it'll keep me a safe distance from the car in front. And if I press this button here, I also have a lane keeping assist on, so it should steer to keep me in lane. Now the idea is that you keep your hands on the wheel and it just helps you, but you can of course take your hands off and it should stop me from just weaving about the place. Now it's getting a bit cross because I've got my hands off the wheel. It's always interesting to see what the system does when you keep your hands off the wheel. Does it disengage entirely, which I think is a bit dangerous, or does it automatically slow you in your lane? So let's see. It's steering there to keep me in lane still, and now it's slowing me down. It's telling me I've got driver fatigue because I was clearly just not paying attention, and it's telling me to rest.
But I can't rest yet, as you still need to know what the Focus is like to drive. But before we get into that, I need to get technical.
Now in the past, all Ford Focuses had rear independent suspension. However, now you only get it on the more expensive versions. The cheaper models have a torsion beam setup, so it's a bit like their rear wheels are tied together, as I'm illustrating now. So now this is not about to turn into an S&M video. You know, yeah, I might be parked up in a lay-by all alone, but it's not going to get fruity. It's not going to be an X-rated video, don't worry. So when the wheels are connected together, it can mean that if you hit a bump mid-corner, the car can skip a little bit. Now, to help counteract this, Ford has fitted their car with some special springs which keep that rear torsion beam nice and stable. Also, they've tried to isolate the rear suspension from the main body so that when you go over bumps, you don't feel them so much.
The torsion beam cars drive nicely enough, but those with the independent rear setup, like this ST line, are even better.
Well, I tell you what, I think Ford's engineers have nailed it with this car. They've got that perfect balance of comfort and handling. So this is the sportier ST line with stiffer suspension. Yeah, over bumps, it's great. It's really comfortable. It's a really relaxing car to travel in. but it's also got handling and poise. You know, you can have fun in this car. It's genuinely good fun. I mean, I used to say that about the old Focus, the Mark III, the one before that, the Mark II, and the Mark I back in the day, and people used to always complain when I was comparing any car to the Ford Focus as being the benchmark for what a small family car can drive like. I stopped that in recent years because basically the game moved on and left the Ford Focus behind it, but it's caught up and it's now setting the class benchmark yet again with this thing. It's truly great to drive. Sharp steering, loads of grip, loads of confidence to just hoon it around, and it can just put a smile on your face if you get to a road like this. But yeah, for most people in England, when they're driving this car, they're stuck, you know, just going up and down the motorway, you'll be perfectly comfortable. It's quiet, seats are nice, the gear shift, it's a bit notchy, but it's all right. And the automatic, new 8-speed auto, that's smooth as well. Looks like it's a job well done.
The Focus gets Ford's latest range of engines, and both the diesels and the petrols are decent.
I'm in the 1.5 litre turbo petrol, and I want to see just how quick it is to 60 miles an hour. So I've got my specialist timing gear here, and I'm gonna launch it. Bit of wheel spin. Oof, vicious change. Woohoo! 0 to 60 in 7.7 seconds, which makes this a little bit like a hot hatch, really. One thing I do notice though is that while this engine is punchy, it's not the freest revving because it's a 3-cylinder and it can sound a bit rough. You might have noticed it like when I was accelerating.
In case you're wondering, this 182 horsepower version of the 1.5 litre turbo petrol can do 51 miles per gallon. That's thanks in part to the fact it has cylinder deactivation technology to help save fuel. And seeing as we're being sensible, let's move on to practicality.
Now, one of the big problems with the old Focus was that it was cramped in the back seats, but this one is way better. It's just a lot more spacious. Now, Ford actually says that it's got class-leading rear legroom, and look, I've got loads of space, there's lots of headroom as well. The footwells are massive, there's almost a flat floor, which helps. It's really good. The body's wide, so it should be all right for 3 across the back seat as well. The only thing I can complain about are these Isofix covers. They're just removable and they don't even like clip in, so you'll lose those very, very quickly. Now, this seat is actually slammed down because I like to drive nice and low, but if I get Brad to raise it up, go on Brad, raise it up all the way, you can see I can really stretch out almost like I'm in a limousine. I'm impressed.
But will I also be impressed with the boot space? Nah, not so much.
Well, it's a bit better than before, but it's still barely average for this size of car. Though, yeah, that's not enough to put me off.
Still, if you need to carry lots of stuff, there is always the estate version of the Focus. Though the car's more bulbous body just doesn't look as good as the hatch. But hey, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, which brings me on to my final verdict.
I think Ford have built a brilliant car with this new Focus, and it proves that you don't have to pay extra for a premium brand if you want something that drives great, looks lovely, and is rammed full of the latest technology. If you enjoyed this video, please like it and comment on it. Let me know what you thought about the video and, of course, the car. You can watch some more content by clicking over there, and if you click over there, you can check out our Refer a Friend scheme. Basically, if you refer a friend to CarWow, they buy a car through us, we'll give you a £50 Amazon gift card.